Good evening, good morning, good day, crypto miners. Hello, everyone tuning in today. My name is Mary, and today we have a very interesting project presentation from Vitreus. And I see we have some people already up here from Vitreus. Hello, guys. Welcome to Crypto Miners.
Thank you for
Good
having us.
morning from Florida, US. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you have morning over there, right?
Yes, it is morning still here. It is 11 a.m. sharp.
Okay, almost midday. Time for lunch soon.
That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. So many of you. Let's see. We have Chad, the founder, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And Brenton, a
Good morning.
co-founder, I think. Yes. And Tim is here maybe also. Tim, yes,
I'm
I
here.
see you. Hi.
Yeah, good morning.
Those are the names I got. And then we have some other people. Wayne and
Yes,
Taylor.
Yes, Baron is our CMO, our Chief Marketing Officer. Taylor is Director of Products, and my name is Jaren. I am the Director of PR.
Great. Hi, Jaren. Welcome everyone
Hello.
to you. And yeah, we're going to have some fun, right? And we will learn a lot about Vitreus, I hope.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it.
Great. So welcome everyone. And just a little reminder that anything we talk about in here is educational purpose only. So no financial advice. And do your own research, guys. So let's start. So we have so many of you. Maybe a brief introduction of everyone, or yeah, you choose how much time you want to put on that. We had a little introduction already, but maybe an introduction of how you got together, guys, and how long you have been working on this project together.
Yeah, sure. This is Chad. I want to say thank you for having us on the call this morning. I'm just going to provide a little bit of background about our typical work environment. Again, just as you requested, how we all got together, a high-level overview of the project itself and what we're trying to accomplish with all of this. And then I think if we've got some time here at the end, I'm going to try to address a number of the questions that came through on the Twitter post. And if we need to at the end after that, then we can dive into some additional questions. But hopefully, we'll be able to create enough context and direction and interest to maybe do a round two here as well, where we can start to dive into some of the detail around the technology. And just to give you a heads up, we are currently in the process of pursuing patent protections on a lot of our various technologies that we have not seen through the whole process yet. So a lot of the detail that came through, a lot of those questions on the post, we're not going to be able to get into detail today, but here in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks type thing, I'm hoping we can do a second round here and really dive into that detail that a lot of you are looking for. But just a basic introduction.
That sounds great.
I'm Chad Justice. I'm the CEO and founder of the project. I've got the rest of the team here with me: Brent, Baron, Taylor, Tim, Jaren, and a lot of mods from our community here as well with us today. So I'm going to try to drive a lot of these answers, and if I need to defer to some of the other team members to help pull up the rest of the information for us to get to that detail, then I may defer to them as well. But so our project is Vitreus, and this is a digital ecosystem built specifically for the financial services sector. We use a no tax income coin to secure a permissioned based distributed ledger. And we aim to reward long-term holders of our coin with income that is derived from the software infrastructure company Collaborative Digital Innovations. That is the entity and company pursuing the development of all of these various technologies and software overlays. So my background, I'm currently the CEO of a traditional finance wealth management firm called Collaborative Wealth. We've been in business for 17, almost 18 years, and that's where this was born. We are a very archaic, very old school, if you will, way of business. The majority of operators of businesses within our industry use a lot of paper. They use very little technology. And when they do use the technology, it doesn't integrate and it doesn't talk to each other in the way that we feel it should be doing. So that's how this was born, was from our experience, our long-term experience in this sector already, in the way that we're building this technology is going to be for that firm, our firm, Collaborative Wealth. So we're building this specifically for a beta tester. And then we were like, why would we just constrain this to our own individual business? Once it's built and we've got our firm operating on this technology, why don't we take it to market? Why don't we scale this and create a significant revolutionizing effect across our entire industry? So that is our initiative, that's our vision, that's our mission, is to revolutionize the financial services sector on a global level. We're shooting first for US rollout and building specifically for a very restrictive regulatory environment within the US. And once we have that in place, we can then begin to roll out into global jurisdictions and operate within those other regulatory bodies that in many cases are less restrictive than the US. So we'll be built for a big chunk of the global exposure early on just by building for the US. There are a couple out there that we'll need to modify and beef up the regulatory components of our technologies, but we are building specifically for the US market right now. So a lot of the questions stem around, why are we doing it the way we're doing it? Why are we building our own blockchain when we can just, go fork an existing one, save a lot of time, save a lot of money, effort, and have this thing up and running much quicker? It's because of our end user. And our end user, being the financial services firm, requires very specific items. The need for client data security and privacy is paramount. It's the most important component in our industry. Client privacy, client confidentiality. So while other notable blockchains are public, that doesn't meet our criteria that we believe is best suited for our end user clientele. In addition, we're also adding a lot of proprietary AI constraint engines, which I can't get into too much detail today on, but I want to provide a general context in how we plan on implementing the AI engines into our existing infrastructure. But that couldn't be properly facilitated through the use of those other public blockchains. So while we're using a well-established framework, Substrate, we're going to be bringing a brand new implementation of a blockchain and capabilities to our end customers, which is, again, the financial services sector. So what we want to accomplish can't be done with the already existing blockchains that are built. Plus, we believe that our clients deserve a greater capacity than what is currently available through those other blockchains as well.
So for you, the most important thing, or for your clients, I mean, is the privacy or the security of client data, and that can't be provided with these open blockchains. How is this?
Absolutely.
How are you going to close it? I mean, I'm not a very techie person, but
sure,
I'm sure there's
a structure called a permissioned infrastructure, and it's kind of a hybrid between public and private. So it's not completely private in the instance that it's built for one specific user, and it's not public as in it's built for anybody that wants to move on and utilize the infrastructure ledger for, transaction accounting. It's permissioned. It's somewhere in the middle where many call this a centralized environment. In a lot of ways it is, but it's necessary and it's required to provide that level of security and permission-based user access to data in order to protect the data that our customers are moving on to the system.
Mm. So you choose that before the centralization. I mean
Absolutely,
yeah.
and it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I understand.
while it doesn't meet a lot of the the true DeFi believers, it's still a necessary component to maintaining the privacy and security components that are required in our industry. It's just the end user that we're serving, that's their criteria, and it doesn't change, so it has to be built this way.
All right, interesting. Yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So we're building this infrastructure for the financial services industry, and we will maintain an overlay product of a suite of products that will be finance specific, built for the end user who has adopted our ledger system. So we're going to maintain a lot of various products that bring value to those end users in the form of providing them modules to be able to build out their own digital applications to operate within that blockchain environment. We're going to build out an app store, if you will. And these are what we refer to in the white paper as Acquiesce and Emporium. Acquiesce, we tend to explain it the easiest as in it's the parts store, meaning there are various code modules that can be used and developed by third-party developers and put into our modular store by third parties and be able to license them and monetize their own efforts. There's a lot of freelance developers out there that are, producing code and populating those to various resources across the Web3 space. We're going to provide a store where they can produce finance-related specific modules that can be used to develop and assemble into end products for the finance users that are on our blockchain. So that's Acquiesce. Emporium is the finished store. That's the car dealership, if you will, where we have cars that are built ready for sale, where we have apps that are built and ready for sale to our end finance users who are operating on our blockchain. So when I refer to a full digital ecosystem, that's what we're shooting for here, where we have full operation, full support, for full functionality and full resource for the financial sector, who is, again, our end user. Additionally, we'll have another, go ahead.
So the end user is probably then bigger companies that might want to build their own apps or their own systems on your blockchain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We see a number of different profile users coming to us for adoption of our infrastructure. This is gonna come from really what we identify as 5 various sub-markets. Our RAA market, our Registered Investment Advisor, RAA market, is our target market. I mean, that's what we're building this platform for Collaborative Wealth, my firm. And that is going to be the very specific application market that this will be targeted to immediately. It'll also be able to accommodate regulatory requirements for insurance carrier market, small banks and credit union market, the tax and accounting firm market, broker-dealer market. Those all operate under very similar compliance restrictions that our system is going to be built for. And I'll get into a little bit of a high-level discussion on the AI and automation functionality. that's going to be built into our system here in a little bit. But that's who we're targeting to come on and begin adopting and subscribe to our ecosystem, and we'll monetize that in a number of ways. So whereas,
and I guess that you already have a couple of big companies lined up who wants to start using this.
Yeah, we're in development right now. Status of Vitreus is we are building. We are not built yet. We are currently building, and we're fundraising.
Yeah.
So, but we are
good time to build.
Absolutely. Here, while the rest of the world shakes out and gets a lot of these pain points dealt with in the space, I believe we're going to be ready on the other side to really flourish when this bull market takes back off. But yeah, we're building for that market, and so what we're trying to do is assemble and we're in the process of it right now, assemble an advisory board of our target market. So we're bringing on other RAA owners and other bank owners and other finance company chiefs that can serve as really good resources around the design components of our technologies, so that we can make sure that we bring the right value to that end user. But that's going to represent many billions of dollars under management across wealth advisor owners. That's going to represent many billions of dollars of insurance carrier death benefit written agencies, many billions of dollars of assets under management for small banks and credit unions, bringing technologists on board to our advisory board. And so that's going to be a significant resource for us as we go into phase 2 and 3 of design. We've got the basic architecture of our system planned, but when we get into the details around phase 2 and phase 3 of all of our automations and our AI components and whatnot, that value, that automation, that feedback from that target market is going to serve a really good advice mechanism for us as we make sure that we're bringing the right value to that market.
So what's your timeline for this?
Yeah, so this is obviously a really big project, and I don't even like to use the word project. It's a company. We are building a company that has an internal coin mechanism that supports the stability of the ecosystem. So whereas you build, normally a coin and then an infrastructure that supports the coin, we're the other way around. We're the company, and we're building the company to support the coin. Yeah. But timeline-wise, you have a
company already, right? Collaborative Digital Innovations is your software.
Yeah,
company.
we've got 2 companies actually.
Okay.
So Collaborative Digital is the sister brand to Collaborative Wealth, which I finance firm. But we have 2 specific entities built, already formed of what we're trying to do. So we've got the software side, which is the suite of software overlays on the infrastructure. That's Collaborative Digital Innovations, LLC. It's registered in the state of Florida, US. And then we've got Collaborative Digital Labs, which is the Web3 environment, the blockchain, the coin. That's all British Virgin Islands registered entity. So we've got the 2 businesses that make up the Collaborative Digital ecosystem.
I see. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So yeah, we've got those utilities. You asked about the timeline. We've got at least a year, or I would say 8 to 12 months, and we'll have a better idea on our various milestones of the build here in the next few weeks. But really, we're thinking in terms of a year to have everything up and rolled, completed, ready to roll out to our end user and begin recruiting users for adoption and full testing. So,
so a year
we've got a number
now.
of stops. Yeah, and I think that's the safe way to say. I like to under promise, over deliver type thing. So I'm feel pretty comfortable talking about a year time frame. And, if it happens quicker, then all the better. But, I think we can safely assume we've got a lot, our value proposition is built to deliver to market. And I want Tim to spend a couple minutes here on our go-to-market strategy here in a little bit, when that is fully completed and ready to deliver to our markets. Timeline-wise, we've got a number of capital raise rounds. Our first fundraiser is what we're calling our seed round, which is February 21st, here in the next few days. And we've got a pretty innovative way that we're doing this, in that we're issuing NFT vouchers, where purchasers of these pre-sale rounds are buying vouchers, NFT vouchers, to hold in wallet that maintain their value and equivalent number of Vitreus coins that'll be issued when the coins are ready to launch to chain. And then we'll be airdropping those coins out to NFT holders as soon as we're ready to launch.
That's a new way. I've never heard of that before. Maybe it has happened, but I have never heard of that. That's interesting.
So,
yeah.
And we chose that because we've got a number of rounds that we're going to be doing from a fundraising standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to issue coins, once you have the coins issued, and even if you issue them to wallet, there will be people that pair up those coins and start trading them and everything like that. So we felt like the NFT route was going to be the better way to help investors sit there in wallet and maintain a long-term perspective. That's important to us. This is a long-term project, and it's an income-oriented project that we're going to have to be committed to. So along those ways.
So how many NFT? I mean, because you have like a minimum, I think $500 and a maximum of $50,000 the first few days of your seed
Correct.
round, right? And if I buy $500 worth, do I get one NFT then, and then lots of NFTs when I buy the maximum?
Yeah, so the NFTs are pretty cool. They're being used like a wallet. So you purchase one NFT initially, and then if you have another round of fundraising, let's say in round 2 or round 3, you want to buy additional,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a deposit into your existing NFT, and we display those properties inside the NFT in separate buckets.
Okay.
So you can see different purchases and the value of those purchases and what each of one of those purchases equates to in Vitreus coins at the end of the day.
And those I get when you launch then, the coin.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've monitored a lot of these token projects that ultimately become coin projects, and the process of issuing a token and then migrating that token over to the blockchain once it's complete is super intrusive to the investor, and it just creates a lot of stress and anxiety, and it's just really hard on the investor, and it typically is really hard on the charts also. So we like this mechanism to build our committed coin holder base, but then still maintain the ability to launch that coin directly to chain as soon as the chain is complete. And then we just airdrop everybody's allocation of coins directly out to their wallets, and they can hold on to the NFT for whatever purpose. But
yeah, so what happens with the NFT once the coins come? It will still be an NFT then, or?
It'll still be an NFT. Obviously, it doesn't maintain value anymore at that point. But I'd like to see the space adopt this new way of fundraising. Right? It's pretty innovative. It's, as far as I'm aware, it hadn't been done before. I would like to see other people in the space maintain this fundraising mechanism moving forward.
But
I think it's.
Would you be able, since it's NFT, would you be able to sell your NFT?
Yes.
Before launch?
So, correct. Yeah, you can. We've got it set up to where it'll be in wallet, and it'll it integrates over to OpenSea, to where you can go to OpenSea and see all the attributes and the listing, and then you can also post it for sale, also for trading on OpenSea. So there will be a liquidity mechanism still in the meantime if someone determines that they don't want to continue holding or they need their money or whatever reason.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to see how this goes. Very interesting.
Yes.
Thank-
So, the utilities, and I don't like to call them utilities either. It's just a habit. These are products. These are products that our company is developing. We've got our B2B, our business to business softwares, and then we're also going to maintain a coin holder experience app where the coin holder is going to be able to maintain all functionalities around holding, trading, staking their coin all within a single app. And so we'll be working on the build out of both that coin holder experience app, which will probably be our first deliverable, but we'll be building that in conjunction with a completely separate team than the team who is building our infrastructure and the various software overlays.
So this business to business was catching my attention. I mean, how is that going to work? What kind of businesses are you going to buy or sell on this platform? And how do you do with the legal aspects of, is it going to be global all over the world or only maybe in US first?
Yeah, and I think the best way to look at that is from a phased standpoint. We're building a lot of this to implement via the US markets initially. Mm-hmm. And because a lot of this requires certain registrations and adherence to different compliance regulations in other jurisdictions. So we want to get this up and running and adhere to the US regulatory environment first. And then we'll be looking at rolling this out pretty aggressively on a global scale after that.
So is it going to be special kind of businesses like crypto businesses or all kinds, all sorts?
So the business to business, that's the financial services sector that I was referring to. Those are our clients. So RIAs, banks, credit unions, insurance carriers, tax shops, broker-dealers. Those are all our target market to adopt our infrastructure, our distributed ledger system. That's who is going to be paying. That's how we're monetizing this ecosystem, is not on a from a gasless standpoint, but on a subscription fee standpoint. So, and we've got another 30 minutes of conversation around how we're going to monetize that and break down the cost structure. But, for simplicity purpose, we've got a number of bundles that a firm who is coming onto our platform and adopting our infrastructure will be able to choose from. Mm-hmm. And that'll bring value to them to digitize their business, to move all of their paper documents over to digital and store all of their documents on chain via NFT, to bring a compliance automation to their business, whereas we spend pretty heavily on our compliance currently, and our tech stack. Our tech stack at Collaborative Wealth is about 33, 34 different technologies, and it costs us $300,000 roughly per year to maintain that tech stack. And
your business plan of where you make the money is to sell all these, you didn't want to call them utilities, but software maybe, or projects on the chain.
Yeah, so the chain, think of the chain itself as the blockchain as a service. Mm-hmm. So our users will come onto the blockchain. We call it a distributed ledger, but let's just call it blockchain for now. They come onto the blockchain and they subscribe to a bundled service. We've got 3 different bundles based on whatever value they want to receive from us. And then they pay us a recurring fee for that bundle. And then they can also access additional components on chain and even build their own products on chain at that point as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so, they pay you in your coin then? That's where your coin
Correct.
come in. Yeah.
Yeah. So our coin is really to serve two purposes, and we looked at having dual coins, one for investment purpose, one for use case within the ecosystem. And so we're going to be able to accomplish both of those with a single coin. So we're going to have a staking pool. Let's talk about that for a second, where coin holders will be able to stake their coins into the staking pool and get paid income to commit their coins to certain terms in that staking pool. Therein lies the income component of this coin. And that's funded by a royalty off of the business or businesses. And that royalty, then that 3% we're starting out at, and we're going to raise that, starting at 3%. That 3% royalty gets paid over to the staking coin and then is there to distribute to anybody who has committed their coins to the staking pool to provide stability to the ecosystem. And so that's where this income component comes into play, is that it will be able to be used as an investment position or an income position, and it will be able to be used on an in and out trading standpoint for use case for paying fees on for within the ecosystem.
Right.
Dual purpose.
So another question I have is this seed round that you're starting now, it will probably be followed by several more, maybe it's not seed rounds, but pre-sales or, yeah, some gathering of investments, right? Throughout the
Correct,
year,
yeah.
right? Is my guess.
Yeah, we call them fundraisers and not investments.
Sorry.
It's pretty important from a securities definition standpoint.
Yeah.
But we're going to be having 3 separate fundraiser events. First being the seed round, and the second we're going to do a pre-sale 1 fundraiser, and that'll be likely at the end of the spring, probably beginning of June timeframe. That'll be at a slightly higher price. So the seed round will be 2 cents, 150 million coins. And the pre-sale 1 round will be 3 cents and 150, I believe. I think it's either 125 or 150.
They're both
125.
Yeah, 125 both pre-sales, and the seed is 150 million.
Correct.
So
and then we'll have
if
a
you
pre-sale
buy
2.
now, you buy for 2 cents, and then next one is 3 cents, and then there's a third one, you said.
Yep, and then there's a pre-sale 2 round, and that'll likely be end of summer. I'm thinking we're thinking beginning of September timeframe, and we're thinking 4 cents on that. Obviously, we reserve the right to change those prices based on demand. But right now we've got that price set at 4 cents, and that's same structure as the pre-sale 125 million coins. And then that'll conclude our fundraising. So that's on the coin
And what's
side.
the total supply of coins?
1 billion.
1 billion. Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We'll maintain 15% out of the gate on liquidity. We'll maintain 13% or 130 million on treasury. Team allocation is 5%. And then we're maintaining an acquisitions pool specifically for taking down strategic acquisitions of various technologies and team members that we want to integrate into our build out.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
So the staking is going to be important. We've got 2 phases of staking. While the business is not making any revenue, the staking will be an accumulation phase, meaning your traditional staking where you'll commit the coins and then have, based on a term that you commit to, you'll have a certain APY tied to your accumulation of additional coins. And then as soon as the business begins making revenue, then we transition to a phase 2 within the staking pool, which is the income phase. And that's where we start to pay that royalty out to the coin holders. And
So
again,
percentage of the winnings goes back to the coin holders then.
Yeah, winnings is an interesting number, but more specifically, gross
Sorry,
revenue.
my
No,
English
that's
is
good.
not perfect.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Gross revenue is the technical word,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very different than profit. Profit is kind of a bottom line figure.
Yeah. Okay.
And gross revenue is the very top line. So if we have $1 come into the business immediately before any expenses or anything comes out, we have 3% go to the staking pool.
Oh, okay.
So you don't.
Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody, or anybody that has built an income-based model like this has always derived their benefit off of profit, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can modify profit by adding more expenses in or boosting salaries or funny business like that. So we didn't want to go down that road, which is why we built this on top line as a royalty. So it's a very clear, very transparent, here is our gross revenue for the business, and here's the 3% royalty that goes out to the staking.
Indeed, yeah. Like
and
that.
it keeps it very clean. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our, what we feel like is a pretty innovative way to maintain staking. And everybody knows the compliance or the regulatory issues in the last week around staking. So we're examining that pretty closely and maintaining our diligence around understanding the compliance environment based on how those cases are working out with the SEC. But we feel like that our mechanism is very different than that staking as a service issue that was raised by the SEC last week.
Yeah, I like that model. I've never heard of that either. You have so many new innovative things implied in your project.
From an innovation standpoint, I will stack this team next to any other team as far as thinking outside the box. We've got some really, really good people and a lot of new people coming into the space that aren't constrained by old ways of doing things. And that's a really good thing when you can just start fresh and not be kind of mentally constrained by, hey, this is how this project did it, or this project did it this way. We're building from scratch and we're building it the way we want.
So how have you funded this project so far, if this is now your first seed round that's coming up?
Yeah, interesting. We've Brenton and myself have personally funded all of our efforts so far. And so, that just lends to our commitment and our belief into the strength of this business initiative. Brenton and I have very successful traditional finance businesses and, a lot of experience of owning and operating businesses. We're just bringing a new digital channel to what we're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And once we do that, we want to share that with the rest of the industry because we believe it's going to improve the way that we operate. It's going to save us costs. It'll create more efficient business processes. It's going to remove some human personnel requirements, meaning human compliance officers that are, in many cases, expensive and slow, if you will. Our AI engines are designed to be embedded in the various layers of our blockchain to adhere to existing regulatory laws and also change with new regulatory laws. So as things are changed within the regulatory environment, and I guess this is a good segue to start to talk about this, our firms will maintain policies and procedures at a local level for their own business on our chain. And as soon as they get in and start to modify policies and procedures, The system learns that. And the more users we have, the bigger our user base is within our ecosystem, the better our machine learning is on understanding what new changes are coming to the plate and making those changes and then reapplying them back out to the local level and ensuring that all firms are adhering to those changes. So the system being 3 layers, I think about it in terms of a local layer, which is a ledger specific for the individual firm, company, user, and then a consolidation layer, and then a base universal law layer. And so as that layer 3 layer, which is specific to the local firms, the firms are modifying and maintaining their policies and procedures on that layer. And if we have 100, 200, 1,000 different layer 3s that are being maintained, all of that trickles down to the core, layer 1, and gets maintained as a universal law for everybody. So if 5 firms update and 95 firms don't update, and the system, the core, learns that those updates are in fact true new regulatory changes, and the system can ensure that the rest of those 95 firms begin to adhere to those changes. That's where we talk about the automation and maintenance and compliance to changes in the regulatory environment, is via that system.
And this is also very innovative and kind of new, right?
Yeah, so the AI piece is actually in our blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
It is built into it as an integration inside of our system. It is not an overlay software. It is not a chat GPT or any type of standalone software. It's within the layers of our blockchain.
That's cool.
So we're in the process of evaluating all the checks and balances that are required from a regulatory environment standpoint, all the checks and balances that are specific to collaborative wealth, and we're actually building out those laws on a local and a universal level right now. And that is about as much as I can say about the AI components at this point. We're seeking patent applications right now, and as soon as we can go receive the status of patent pending, we'll be able to share some more stuff. So maybe for a round 2 AMA, we could get into the details there.
Yeah. Don't share too much. I'm not going to steal the AI anyway, so I don't know how those work.
Yeah, so
it's really interesting.
I've been talking for 45 minutes
Isn't there
now.
like a security thingy that the AI can be too smart, then go rogue or something?
Well, there are all these theorists out there, I think, that are talking about the takeover of machine learning and whatnot. But again, it's just theories at this point. But
let's see.
Tim, do you have anything additional to add from a technology or a go-to-market standpoint?
Yeah, I want to reinforce a couple of the points that you made around the B2B offering and why we're targeting the financial market. And as my role as the CTO of this company is really to take this to market architecturally and ensuring that the tech stack itself will scale globally, which, as you can imagine, is a fun challenge. But really, for you to grasp this, and again, I'm going to reinforce this more on the technical approach. We're enabling enterprises to focus on their applications rather than worry about which blockchain or cloud to use, right? Which smart contract development platform to use, or how to connect legacy data to new Web3 applications is essentially the core of this product. And as Chad mentioned, our ML approach is really going to be around a data normalization process, right? So the goal is to change the values of the data set in a common scale without distorting the differences in the ranges of values or losing information. So when you look at, if I'm a user and I want to get into this, I don't have to worry about blockchain infrastructure or developing apps. I can use low-level code approaches and build out how I want to integrate my legacy systems and start using these very complex technologies that take a lot of effort and time to build out. So the democratization of these technologies over the next 7 years, we're not only ahead of the market, but if you do your market research, AI specifically, even big data, blockchain, Web3, all these technologies combined into a single stack is an offering. And that's what we're building here with the mindset of being able to be compliant across each country, match the legislation. And as this industry becomes more mature and federal agencies and different legislations across different countries come out, because it is fragmented at this point, we will be able to adjust, thusly providing even more guidance in a complex market. So not only do I would totally agree that this is innovative, I would say that this is going to transform not just how we're using these technologies, but giving access to this data and corporations and making it meaningful so that data is an asset as opposed to just being fragmented across their legacy systems.
So Tim, can I ask you, do you think the world is ready for this innovation or this new thinking then? Are we there?
I do. And the reason why is you've seen the adoption and the desire to do more than what you can do in a centralized topology. That doesn't mean centralized is going to go away, but these are certainly technologies that are allowing rapid adoption, and we're seeing these innovation cycles be completely different every 18 months. So yeah, I really think that they're becoming more mainstream. When you see the consumer markets really start to grab onto, the AI, look at what Bing just did, right? Microsoft released their AI engine on Bing. You can now go to a search engine and fully interact with an AI and get results that would not be seen. It would take even ChatGPT days to do. But what I do think the challenge is going to be is these technologies are also very complicated, and they require a lot of architecture and experience and knowing how to piece them all together in a usable way. But then the complexity of the next phase after that would be to migrate and consume. So I think we'll see a lot of companies are already figuring out how to use just standalone things, like maybe how to build out a blockchain app. What am I going to do from a distributed Web3 perspective? When we are seeing whole platforms being built, that's when you will see a larger adoption rate over the next 5 years in the B2B markets.
Great. Well, there is so much to this project, and I think, as you said in the start, we could go on for probably days to learn all about it. But at least we have a little bit of it now, and I think most of us are eager to know even more and follow you guys. And maybe we can have some questions from the audience, or do you have to go soon, or what's your schedule today?
I think we could have a few. I budgeted an hour here, so it looks like we've got about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, because there was one who sent a message to me about a company that you bought that's called Reflex Finance. And they wanted to know why you bought that and for what you're gonna, Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So Reflex was a token project that we just completed acquisition of about a week ago. And so Brent, who is our COO, who is also my partner in Collaborative Wealth, was a main team member on the Reflex project. And so I've been working with Brenton for a while now, talking about my plans for what we're calling Vitreus now. We didn't know the name back then, but we've been wanting to build this digital ecosystem for financial services for a year and a half now, roughly. And so then I was able to talk Brent into coming over and bringing a couple other team members with him. So that's how we got a decent chunk of the team that is here now up and running. So Brent, Jaron, Taylor, Barron, those were all team members from Reflex. And So that brought additional immediate value as we began to assemble our team. And then we went out and we hired other outside individuals to finish out the build of our core team. But they brought on a couple team members right out of the gate. So there's also some technologies that were already built that we acquired as well, being the swap, the launch pad, that was a Binance launch pad, and then a swap for a pretty broad ecosystem of tokens, including their own Reflex token. And so those technologies we've pulled into our ecosystem, and we've got finished code that is going to be ready to be integrated into our higher level initiative on our software build, and obviously removed a lot of cost and time required to have to build those from scratch again. So technology fold in was a big value there, and then experience. You can't replace experience, and them being able to operate a token project for the past year has brought invaluable experience on what works and what does not work to the table for us as we've begun our initiative on building this Vitreus ecosystem out.
Yeah, great answer. I mean, it's saves you time, right? Saved you time.
Absolutely,
and
time and money.
Yeah, time and money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
knowledge.
So yeah, acquisitions is probably the number one contributor to the method of how I was able to hyperscale collaborative wealth, my investment business, the traditional finance business, so quickly. And so we did over a dozen acquisitions of firms and individual advisors looking to sell their books of business of clients and retire out to the business. So that acquisition space is really where I have my stronghold in being able to scale a company quickly. And it's also carrying over into how we plan on scaling Vitreus as well. We've, if you look in the white paper, we've got a breakdown of our coin allocation. A big chunk of that is for an acquisitions wallet pool. And so we plan on utilizing that whole pool of coinage for additional strategic acquisitions that we can do the same thing we did with Reflex. So that was a very successful acquisition. We spent the last 2 months talking about our vision and answering a lot of questions, being involved in their socials. And we were able to transition 88% of those Reflex holders over to Vitreus. So we saw a big showing in belief of the strength of our company and our new vision. And that translated into 842 NFTs that we've already minted. So the seed round is just a continuance of our minting of NFTs. We've already done it through our acquisition of Reflex 842 times. So
okay.
It works.
So these NFTs, are they going to be like something to look at as well? Or, I mean, like a picture
Absolutely.
Or art?
Yeah, so everybody knows the traditional NFT that you buy a piece of digital art and you hold it there and you can look at it whenever you want to. This is actually a rotating 3D coin, Vitreus coin, that looks nice. You can see it in wallet. It has the motion to it, and then you can see the breakdown of all the properties and wallet details and everything associated with that NFT below it. So yeah, visual functionality and property functionality.
Mm-hmm.
That goes into some good detail.
A question that usually comes up during these AMAs for this audience are multilingual and from all over the world. So they usually want to know, are there going to be like separate groups for different languages out there for Vitreus, or how can they participate if they don't speak English?
Yeah, so that's a great idea, and it's not something.
I can take this actually.
Okay.
We don't currently have any multilingual we have one main Telegram, but we do have a Discord that as individuals come in, and if we, see other communities coming in and they want to build into the Discord, we can open up international channels so that those communities can converse within the Discord. So if that is something that you're interested in, come into the Discord. Let us know that you have a second language besides English, and we can look into opening some international channels. That way, we can be more inclusive to the broader audience.
Perfect.
Very good. Yeah, very good. The time flies when you have fun, and you said you want to come back again, and we would love to have you back again and talk more about this, and maybe have more questions also then from the audience. Something I used to ask sometimes, and I feel this is a big project, so I would like to hear your vision even longer term, because now you have 1 year ahead and then you're going to launch. And where do you see yourself for this project go in the long run, maybe like 5 years ahead or even more? Do you have a long vision like that?
Yeah, our vision of generating adoption is going to be a very long runway. So once we have the basic software and digital infrastructure and ledger system and AI and our value proposition built, our whole initiative is going to be around generating adoption and rolling out this new digital era within the financial services sector. That's a multi-year, 5+ year initiative of generating adoption because of the size of the industry. So outside of just generating new adoption and garnering additional adoption of users into the ecosystem, building additional products and assisting our user firms to build products for themselves to populate our app store, if you will, is going to be, it'll be simple, but it'll be complex enough to be able to continuously grow over a 10-year time frame. So we don't have to make it too complex. And many times companies come in and they try to build this 5 to 10-year vision that takes them in all different directions that I call diversification. And it takes you away from your core focus. And so the importance of maintaining your focus on your core and your core initiative is going to be really important as we, number one, try to maximize adoption within the industry, and 2, encourage and provide development tools for our users to build out their own ecosystems. So that's our goal over the next 5+ years.
Great. It's a big project. I'm so happy to have met you guys so early. So see,
yeah,
I'm going to look into this more. No financial advice, guys, but if you think this is an interesting project, go to their Telegram or Discord and here on Twitter, follow these guys, and don't miss this. I think it's a big one. And I also have a little fun question at the end. People are waiting for it sometimes, and that is the Vitreus team here. We are so many people. Do you eat pizza with pineapple or without?
With, absolutely with.
100%.
Never.
I had it 2 days ago.
I don't discriminate against pizza toppings.
I actually used to love pineapple pizza, and then I had a set of twins, and during my pregnancy with them, I couldn't stand it, and since then, I have not been able to eat it. I don't know why, but I used to love it. Now I don't. It's kind of weird.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I'll eat Jaren's pineapple pizza.
Yeah, I'll give it to you gladly.
Yeah, good.
I don't know who won here, yes or no side, or maybe, or if you haven't tried it, try it.
Good deal.
So, great.
Well, I appreciate you having us, Mary. It's been a pleasure providing a high-level view of what we're trying to do here. Mm-hmm. And maybe a round 2 would be appropriate to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the construction of the technology, and maybe even talk about the AI at that point.
Yeah.
But before we finish up here, any of the rest of the team do y'all have anything you want to mention or provide some ending thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to reinforce a couple industry opportunities as well. We're seeing numbers, right, talking about how we're going to take this to a 10-year plan. By 2030, blockchain alone will be worth $3.1 trillion. And that's, those numbers, if you look them up, are coming from analyst firms like Gartner and Forrester. So I'm very humbled to be a part of this team. I'm excited about where we're taking it, and the market itself is ready. We just have to deliver it in a way that can be consumed. So I appreciate you guys having us today as well.
Thank you, Tim. Anyone else?
I
have time.
Right.
All right. Yeah. I'll just say one thing to leave to everyone here. This industry or this space that we've been talking about, there are so many barriers to entry, and the biggest is like cost. These institutions already are spending, millions of dollars to build their own distributed ledgers, and having the opportunity of Vitreus, of having an infrastructure that has AI to offer this to, these small banks, these middle cap companies, like this is the opportunity that's out there that's laid out for us. So I think, again, I'm biased. I think we'll be super successful, and but that's what I'm most excited for, and I appreciate the time.
I just want to invite everybody to join our socials. If Vitreus is something that you are interested in, we have all the traditional channels: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We have a Telegram. We have an announcement Vitreus Telegram, and we also have a Discord. So if Vitreus is something that you're interested in, you want to learn more, you have questions that weren't answered today, we invite you to hop into our socials, and we will speak with you there.
Great. Anyone else? I actually got one more question, if I may, and that is the name Vitreus. Why that name? Is there a story behind that? Do you have time to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Pretty simple, but vitreous is Latin word for transparency and translucence, or glass-like, if you will. So as we were exploring possible names, we basically went through the whole dictionary, both Latin and English. And we felt that this depicted what we stand for, and transparency and fiduciary is our core values. That's what we're about. So we felt like it was a perfect match. Vitreus just sounds nice and professional as well. And then we hired a nice agency to do up our branding also, and we're very proud of that branding. But yeah, that's a great question. We don't get too often, but translucent, transparency, and fiduciary-like is basically what Vitreus stands for.
Nice, I like that. It's a great name. Actually, I like it very much. So thank you guys, everyone, for coming from the Vitreus team, and everyone in here who listened to us today. And yes, bring your friends. Tell them to listen to the recording, because this is an interesting one. New thinking, innovative, and a great team behind this project, guys. So yeah, don't miss it. No
Wonderful.
financial
Thank you for
advice.
having us, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. Have a nice
It's been a pleasure.
day
Thanks.
over there. And happy Valentine's Day, guys.
You as well.
Thank you very much.
Remember to tell people you love them, if you do.
Absolutely, we do. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. You too. Have some hearts, guys, for the closing. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
we will have another AMA coming up in 1 hour. If you want to come back and listen, then be welcome. Bye for now, guys. Thank you.